Hello and welcome to the Big G Video podcast. And I want to talk about an older time today. I want to talk about when I was getting started. Now today, everyone has a phone with them. Everyone has the ability to record video, and they can record very good video with the phones we have now. But I'm going to go back maybe 14, 15 years, around 2008. It's all a bit hazy for me. I can't remember the exact time. Let me talk about the websites that were big at that time. Flickr was big and PhotoBucket, and you had in your devices ways to upload to PhotoBucket. I don't even know if PhotoBucket's still going. YouTube was not as big as it is now, and I want to talk today about cameras of yesteryear. I want to talk about the Creative Vado. I think it's Vado. Is it Vado? I don't know. I don't even know if Creative still exists. Maybe they became Logitech, but I don't know. GoPros had just come out, and it was really a time when if you wanted to record video, you had to use a camcorder. I'm talking about, commercial, people at home, consumer cameras. Maybe not commercial, that's a bit confusing. Consumer cameras, it was very much using camcorders. And they were using tape and writable DVDs and all these strange things. And I think I might have had a camcorder, but I was certainly having to plug it into my computer via something called Firewire. Because with a mini DV, you had to play it and then record it on your computer in real time. Now, I can't remember when I got that. I think it was after my Creative Vado. So I knew when I got my Vado that I didn't really want to be using a camcorder. Later I did get one. So it was basically a pocket video camera. But where it was better than a camcorder was you could connect it straight to your computer and you had an MP4 file. And you didn't have to do that conversion and transferring across in the way you would have to with a camcorder. And it was an AVC HD and all those annoying codecs. It was just your standard straightforward MP4. So it was very similar to other cameras of the time. It was a consumer camera, and there was also the flip camera. There was the Kodak ZV-1, which I think was waterproof, and basically they had a single lens on that had fixed focus, fixed aperture, and they were pretty much auto exposure. They had a microphone. They didn't have any image stabilization, nothing like that, and that was that. Now, I recently did a video on my YouTube channel about the Sony Bloggie. Now, the Sony Bloggie was the gold standard of these type of cameras, because typically these pocket cameras recorded 720p. The Bloggie recorded in 1080p, and it had an innovative flip lens where you could face it forward and backwards. So you could do selfies with the Bloggie, the Sony Bloggie, or vlogging, but you couldn't with these other ones because you couldn't see the screen. So they were just very tiny, but they got me really into doing videography. They were a cheap way to get into videography, because don't forget, at that time, smartphones weren't the cheap way to get in. They were very much in their infancy. I'm going to retract that phrase of smartphones. I'm going to say mobile phones, because they weren't necessarily smart in 2008. And certainly if they were out, I didn't have one. I did not have an iPhone till the iPhone 4S. And that was my second smartphone. I had an Android before that, but it was rubbish. And I bought it off a friend, and I deeply regret that purchase. You know who you are, who sold me that phone. Anyway, so they were really good. And, well, they weren't really good, but they were a really good entry into doing filming. And I took it everywhere with me. It slipped in my pocket, and I just filmed random stuff. And I put that on YouTube. And believe it or not, people watched it. So I'd film my train journeys. And, I'd cut it down and stuff. It wasn't like 45 minutes of train journeys. But I cut it down and it got views, because that's what YouTube was at that time. It was just people putting stuff up and people watching it. It's significantly changed now from what it was, but hey, you've got to start somewhere. So YouTube had to start somewhere, and these cameras and filmmakers like me, or YouTubers like me, or people who just want to record film, had to start somewhere. So there were better things out there, but they were very expensive, and ultimately the technology was going to change anyway. So you can still get these type of things, maybe pick them up in a charity shop. If you look for them on places like eBay, you can get them quite cheap. Had a look at the price of a Creative Vado. Really expensive, sort of £90. Maybe it's in short supply and people are quite keen to keep them or something, or they become a bit classic. But anyway, pop out USB connector, hook them up to your computer, very easy. And that's really where I got started. And then of course I went down the DSLR route, and it was much better because I could focus, I had more control, I could input external audio, I could do so much more. And that was that. So I just wanted to talk about where I started in this episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed looking back many years ago. It'd be really nice to know where you started your filming journey. Do let me know. Don't forget to check out my other episodes. Don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Big G Video. And I'll see you next time. Bye.